At a family meal, my sister mentioned Mom and Dad assured me I could stay with you. I drank my water. I'm John, a 30-year-old living in Chicago. My story is one of betrayal and ultimate freedom, and it all culminated around a dinner table. A few weeks ago, Mom and Dad promised I could live with you. I took a deliberate drink of my water and then replied, "Well, this is quite an inconvenient truth, Emily, but I finalized the sale of the property last Friday to a charming couple." The fork clattered from her grasp. The room fell into a profound hush as if a switch had been thrown. Emily stared at me with an expectant flicker in her eyes, anticipating a jest, but I was utterly serious. That was the night my vindication reached its peak, and it began as all breaches of faith do with trust. Growing up, she was always the favored offspring, the golden child. While I toiled over my books until the early hours, she stealthily exited her window and returned inebriated. Mom, who is now 58, would gently cover her and murmur, "She's simply experiencing her youth, allowing her freedom." Meanwhile, I was the dutiful one, the steadfast one, perpetually tidying her mishaps. When our father, who is 59, departed, I became the main support. Bills, mortgages, repairs. The house in a quiet Chicago neighborhood wasn't just a building. It was my sanctuary, my heavy responsibility, my testament to maintaining stability when others faltered. And maybe I believed that counted for something. But last year I chanced to hear it, her voice echoing with laughter through the phone. "Don't worry, Mom and Dad already said the residence is essentially mine. John would never evict me. My house, the one I'd invested my all to retain, diminished to a mere assurance they made without my knowledge, as if I were a mere occupant outstaying my welcome." I chose not to confront her. Not at that moment. I feigned ignorance, allowing her to believe I was oblivious inside, though I formed a resolute decision: if they thought I'd passively accept, they would deeply regret their misjudgment. I initiated subtly, ceased maintaining her automobile when Emily, then 28, neglected routine maintenance, discontinued settling overdue accounts she solemnly vowed to handle. I allowed her to experience the harsh realities unbuffered by my support. Meanwhile, I strategized, for true vindication is a quiet, deliberate, and precise endeavor. The title to the property was exclusively in my name. Extensive documentation and personal sacrifice had cemented this fact. I did not boast about it. I permitted them to harbor their own illusions. And while Emily adorned her chamber as though it were a permanent fixture, I was already finalizing agreements. The purchasers appeared swiftly, a youthful couple, eager and enthusiastic, prepared to forge a new beginning. They presented a cash offer which I accepted, a single signature, and the edifice, bearing a legacy of our family's deceptions, was no longer my responsibility to uphold. But I did not vacate immediately. No, I bided my time, for impeccable timing is paramount. Which leads me back to that fateful evening meal. Emily occupied the seat opposite me with a self-satisfied air, swirling her wine as if a monarch awaiting her coronation. Then she uttered it with nonchalance and a sense of entitlement. "Mom and Dad promised I could live with you." I took a measured drink of water, composed and calculated. Then I placed the glass down and let the utensil fall. "Well, this is quite an inconvenient truth," I said. "I finalized the sale of the property last Friday to a charming couple relocating next week." Her complexion paled. My parents became motionless, and in that hush, a stillness that gave the air a metallic tang, I experienced a resurgence of my authority. Emily stammered initially, You are unable to do that." But I had indeed, and the documentation was irrevocable. My mother's voice fractured. "Why did you not inform us?" I met her gaze, composed and dispassionate. "Because it was never our house, it was always solely mine. I merely ceased maintaining the pretense." Their lips moved, yet no audible utterance escaped. "And that's the elegance of truth. It requires no vocal amplification. Whispered, it reverberates with greater force. The consequences were instantaneous. My sister, Emily, had no contingency, no fallback strategy. She'd constructed her future upon the false belief that I would perpetually support her. My guardians had relied on my unwavering predictability. They had erred. The purchasers occupied the premises a fortnight later. I presented the keys, departed with dignity, leaving them amidst the driveway, half-packed bags and vocal disagreements echoing onto the thoroughfare. In my new residence in a quiet corner of Chicago, the quietude was distinct, not oppressive, not encumbered. It was exclusively mine. They contacted me naturally. Voicemails varied from desperate entreaties to vehement fury. "You have betrayed your kin." Amusing, I mused. That is precisely what they inflicted upon me. Here's what they failed to grasp. I wasn't bound by the need to be relied upon. I craved respect, and when they divested me of that, I consequently dismantled the very ground they presumed to stand upon. That night at the dinner table was beyond mere vengeance. It was a profound declaration. I'd endured years internalizing resentment awaiting approval, but when I sold that residence, I attained a profound realization. I required no external validation. I merely sought my liberation, and the expression on their countenances as they comprehended their footing had vanished. That was the most exquisite form of emancipation. They believed the dwelling would eternally tether me to them. Instead, it transformed into the instrument with which I severed my bonds, and I have no lingering remorse. What lesson did you learn from this story? Please let me know in the comments.